From a distance, Mercury looks harmless, just a quiet gray marble orbiting close to the sun. But the moment you approach, that calm illusion shatters, revealing a world carved by violence. Its surface is ripped open by ancient impacts, leaving scars that stretch across entire horizons. Cliffs rise like colossal blades, frozen reminders of a planet crushed and twisted over time. Daylight turns Mercury into a blazing furnace where metal would melt in minutes. Nightfall plunges it into brutal darkness, colder than the deepest icy voids. With no atmosphere, nothing softens the extremes. It is pure fire and pure ice. Silence dominates everything. No wind, no sound, no life, only the echo of destruction. Mercury isn't just dead, it feels dangerous, like a world permanently caught in survival mode. Stay with me and make sure to subscribe, because the journey ahead is about to get even more incredible. Mercury may be the smallest planet, yet its hostile environment makes it unimaginably dangerous for explorers. Lacking any protective atmosphere, Mercury receives direct solar radiation that scorches its barren surface relentlessly. Without atmospheric shielding, meteoroids strike freely, leaving deep scars that remain perfectly preserved forever there. Massive craters dominate the landscape, each marking ancient collisions that violently reshape Mercury's unforgiving terrain permanently. Towering cliffs stretch hundreds of kilometers, formed when Mercury's interior cooled and its entire surface contracted drastically. These cliffs, called lobate scarps, reveal dramatic tectonic shifts created by planetary shrinkage over time. Every geological feature remains visible because nothing erodes or softens Mercury's harsh and silent world. Mercury's daytime temperatures soar above 400 degrees Celsius, creating extreme thermal stress across its rugged landscape surfaces. When night falls, heat escapes rapidly, dropping temperatures to minus 170 degrees Celsius within hours of darkness. These brutal temperature swings crack rocks, expand materials, and slowly break apart Mercury's ancient crust. Because no weather exists, shattered rocks remain untouched, preserving geological history exactly as it was originally formed. Mercury's airless environment means sound cannot travel, turning its surface into absolute silence for eternity. Sunlight strikes Mercury with intensity unmatched anywhere else, bombarding surface materials with relentless energy constantly. This harsh illumination highlights every contour, revealing details that remain hidden on more sheltered worlds. Mercury's weak magnetic field offers minimal protection, allowing solar particles to impact exposed terrain continuously over billions of years. These impacts shape Mercury's surface into a desolate mosaic of destruction. The Caloris Basin remains the largest cratered region, evidence of a catastrophic collision early in planetary history. Shock waves from that impact created cliffs, fractured plains, and widespread chaos across Mercury's surface permanently. Mercury's interior cooled quickly, halting volcanic activity and leaving the planet geologically frozen for eons ahead. Together, these features create Mercury, a dead world, unchanged, silent, and shaped entirely by devastation. Mercury's surface resembles the Moon, yet every feature appears sharper, harsher, and significantly more dangerous. Ancient impact basins sprawl across vast distances, forming enormous scars carved into the planet's desolate crust. The Caloris Basin dominates Mercury's landscape, showcasing evidence of unimaginably violent planetary-scale collisions. Shock waves from these colossal impacts fractured surrounding terrains, leaving chaotic regions filled with broken crust. Countless smaller craters overlay older ones, preserving billions of years of destructive cosmic history permanently. Because Mercury lacks erosion, every crater remains perfectly crisp, sharp, and unchanged across immense timescales. Even tiny meteoroids produce striking features since no atmosphere slows or burns incoming debris. Mercury's plains look smooth from afar, yet reveal jagged edges and fractured surfaces upon closer examination. Some regions contain weirdly twisted terrains formed when seismic waves from impacts reflected across Mercury's surface. These disturbed landscapes appear warped and shattered, resembling frozen ripples left by unimaginable forces. Among Mercury's most terrifying features stand towering lobate scarps stretching hundreds of kilometers in length. These scarp cliffs rise steeply, created when Mercury cooled rapidly and its entire crust compressed violently. As the interior contracted, surface layers buckled upward, forming razor-edge cliffs resembling enormous planetary blades. These cliffs sometimes drop kilometers downward, creating shadowy chasms untouched by sunlight for ages. Walking near one would feel impossible, with sheer walls threatening collapse under extreme temperature changes. Mercury's crust contains countless fractures created by cycles of daytime heat expansion and nighttime contraction. These thermal stresses crack rocks continuously, producing fields of shattered boulders scattered across lifeless plains. Even flat areas hide danger, filled with micro-craters and jagged debris impossible to traverse safely. Because no wind exists, sharp surfaces remain exposed forever, never worn down or softened. Everywhere you look appears hostile, broken ground, sharp ridges, and chaotic fields of ancient rubble. Sunlight harshly illuminates Mercury's terrain, making shadows deeper and jagged formations even more menacing. At sunrise, long shadows stretch across craters, revealing unforgiving shapes carved by cosmic violence. As the surface heats, rocks expand, shifting slightly and adding subtle movements to silent landscapes. Night brings extreme cold, tightening cracks and worsening fractures that reshape Mercury slowly yet relentlessly. Mercury's surface is a frozen battlefield of impacts, fractures, and cliffs untouched across billions of years. Mercury experiences the most dramatic temperature swings anywhere, making its environment brutally unstable and extremely hostile. Daytime temperatures soar to nearly 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to easily melt solid lead. The sun's radiation strikes Mercury directly, with no atmospheric shield to soften its destructive intensity. Rocks expand under blistering heat, creating cracks and tension across Mercury's already fractured ancient surface. The ground glows faintly in infrared wavelengths, radiating accumulated heat back into empty space. As sunset falls, temperatures plummet rapidly because nothing traps warmth on Mercury's exposed terrain. Nighttime cold reaches minus 170 degrees Celsius, freezing everything instantly under silent darkness. Such extreme freezing contracts rocks violently, worsening fractures created during the previous brutally hot day. These temperature cycles repeat endlessly, tearing Mercury's crust apart molecule by molecule across billions of years. The planet's surface endures daily thermal torture, stretching and shrinking under relentless solar heating cycles. No atmosphere exists to distribute heat, so Mercury's dayside cooks while nightside freezes solid. Standing on the boundary between day and night would expose unimaginable rapid temperature transitions instantly. Objects could shatter from thermal shock, breaking apart when heated and cooled too quickly every rotation. Even metals would expand harshly under sunlight, then contract abruptly once darkness blankets the terrain. Mercury's horizon glows fiercely at midday, yet becomes eerily still and icy after sunset. Without protective air, heat radiates away instantly, leaving nights colder than distant outer planets. This constant heating and freezing produces grinding stresses that slowly reshape Mercury's harsh, barren landscape. The planet essentially breathes thermally, inflating and deflating through extreme cycles that never truly end. Mercury's temperature regime feels alien, ruled completely by the sun's brutal closeness and unforgiving exposure. It is truly a world of fire by day and ice by night, forever divided. Mercury has nearly no atmosphere, leaving its entire surface trapped within absolute and eternal silence. Without air to carry vibrations, sound cannot travel even the smallest measurable distance anywhere here. If you stood on Mercury, your surroundings would remain completely silent regardless of your movements. Even your footsteps would make no audible noise because sound needs air to actually propagate. The stillness would feel unnatural, creating an unsettling quiet far beyond anything experienced on Earth. You could scream loudly, yet nothing would echo back, and nothing would reach your ears. No wind blows across the barren plains, since Mercury lacks any detectable atmospheric movement. The sun's heat roars visually, but produces no audible presence without air to transmit energy. Every impact from micrometeorites would be silent, despite striking the ground with incredible violent force. Cliffs rising kilometers high would collapse silently, falling without a single detectable sound wave. The silence surrounds everything, pressing against your mind like a heavy, suffocating, invisible weight. Even machinery would seem strangely muted, producing vibrations but no sound within Mercury's empty environment. Your breath would be trapped inside your suit, creating the only noise you could hear. The isolation would amplify your heartbeat, making it unnaturally loud within your enclosed helmet. This constant internal rhythm becomes your only companion in an otherwise entirely mute world. Not even distant rumbling exists because Mercury's ground carries vibrations poorly without atmospheric help. The lack of sound eliminates all warning cues, making danger completely silent and unpredictable. Every movement you make would feel disconnected, producing action without any corresponding audible feedback. Silence here stretches endlessly across craters, cliffs, and ancient basins shaped by billions of impacts. The planet's stillness feels eerie, as if time itself has paused across its desolate landscapes. Shadows creep silently across the terrain as the sun rises and falls without sound. Even thermal cracking of rocks happens quietly, breaking apart without the slightest audible snap. Such silence becomes oppressive, reminding you constantly that Mercury is utterly empty and lifeless. It is a world where silence dominates everything, deeper than any void humanity has imagined. Mercury remains a planet where your heartbeat becomes the single surviving sound you ever hear. Jagged cliffs stretch across Mercury's surface, forming deadly landscapes shaped by ancient, violent planetary contractions. These immense scarps rise sharply, creating treacherous edges capable of collapsing silently without any atmospheric resistance. Massive impact craters mark the planet, each representing collisions powerful enough to reshape entire regions violently. Some impacts were so intense they melted rock, leaving enormous basins permanently carved into Mercury's crust. The planet's surface tells a history written through destruction, with every crater preserving a catastrophic event. Mercury's daytime heat reaches extremes capable of vaporizing materials instantly under the sun's relentless radiation. At night, temperatures plummet so drastically that exposed metals would freeze and shatter violently. The brutal temperature swings create an environment where survival is completely impossible without heavy protection. Mercury lacks an atmosphere, meaning nothing shields the ground from direct cosmic and solar impacts. Rocks fracture under thermal stress daily, cracking repeatedly as heat and cold battle continuously. The planet physically shrinks over time, causing crustal breaks that form enormous cliffs and ridges. This global contraction makes Mercury feel like a slowly dying world collapsing inward upon itself. The silence amplifies its danger, leaving hazards hidden without the warning sounds usually present. Huge boulders could tumble down cliffs silently, giving no audible indication of approaching destruction. The ground beneath you might shift quietly, cracking from internal stress without producing any sound. Mercury's proximity to the sun exposes it to intense radiation, further harshening its hostile environment. Solar storms strike the surface directly, unleashing energy that would overwhelm unprotected human equipment. Every part of Mercury feels hostile, as if nature removed all elements that support life. It is a world shaped entirely by violence, silence, heat, cold, and relentless cosmic pressure. Mercury is not just dead. It truly feels threatening, unpredictable, and terrifying every passing moment. Mercury contains an unusually massive core occupying most of its internal volume compared to similar planets. As this enormous metallic core cooled over time, it gradually contracted significantly within the planet. The shrinking core pulled the crust inward, creating tension that folded and fractured the planetary surface. These intense internal pressures produce Mercury's razor-like cliffs stretching hundreds of kilometers across barren landscapes. The cliffs, called lobate scarps, form sharp ridges that rise suddenly like massive planetary blades. Their formation required immense force, showing how violently Mercury's interior changed during early planetary evolution. The crust buckled under pressure, creating structures resembling broken shells scattered across the ancient terrain. Cooling continued for billions of years, making the planet steadily shrink in dramatic geological stages. Each contraction event left behind new fractures, ridges, and cliffs, marking Mercury's ongoing internal collapse. Beyond internal forces, external impacts shaped Mercury during the chaotic early solar system era. Asteroids and comets struck repeatedly, carving enormous craters that still remain perfectly preserved today. Because Mercury lacks atmosphere or weather, nothing erodes these scars carved by ancient collisions. The surface records billions of years of violent history without being erased by wind or rain. This makes Mercury a natural time capsule, preserving some of the oldest surface features anywhere. Many craters show shattered floors, central peaks, and ejecta blankets frozen exactly where they landed. The sharpness of these features highlights the planet's total exposure to direct cosmic bombardment. Thermal stress from extreme temperature shifts further cracks the landscape, enhancing Mercury's jagged appearance dramatically. Even small stones experience expansion and contraction cycles strong enough to fracture them repeatedly. Together, shrinking crust and relentless impacts created Mercury's uniquely sharp, dangerous, and ancient planetary surface. It remains one of the most preserved geological records, unchanged across nearly the entire solar system. NASA's Messenger spacecraft transformed our understanding by capturing Mercury's surface in extraordinary scientific detail. Its orbital mission mapped cliffs, craters, and shrinking features across terrain unchanged for billions of years. Messenger also measured Mercury's magnetic field, revealing unexpected weaknesses and strange asymmetric structural patterns. The spacecraft discovered evidence of volatile elements, surprising scientists expecting a more depleted planetary surface. Europe and Japan's BepiColombo mission is currently traveling toward Mercury for deeper scientific investigation. BepiColombo will enter orbit and analyze the crust, mantle, core, and magnetic field behavior. Its instruments will study Mercury's shrinking process by scanning surface deformations and measuring tectonic stress. The mission aims to track how lobate scarps formed and continue evolving under internal pressure. Data will clarify how Mercury's core cools, contracts, and reshapes the crust with incredible force. BepiColombo also seeks answers about mysterious hollows formed by disappearing minerals on Mercury's surface. Future missions will use advanced radar to map subsurface layers beneath cliffs and ancient impact basins. Scientists want to uncover hidden structures revealing how Mercury's interior cooled throughout early planetary history. Understanding Mercury's magnetic field could explain why it's so weak despite a massive core. Such research may rewrite theories about magnetic dynamos operating inside rocky planets across the universe. Mercury's unusual density may provide clues about catastrophic events during the solar system's violent formation. Studying its extreme environment helps researchers compare rocky worlds orbiting close to other distant stars. Each new discovery brings scientists closer to understanding how small inner planets evolve over billions. Mercury remains a natural laboratory for observing processes otherwise hidden deep inside major planetary interiors. The planet's preserved crust offers unmatched insight into ancient cosmic impacts and geological transformation. By exploring Mercury, missions uncover secrets revealing the early solar system's harsh and chaotic beginnings. Mercury remains a lifeless world shaped entirely by ancient violence and relentless solar exposure. Its silent cliffs and frozen craters preserve stories carved during the solar system's chaotic birth. Jagged terrain stretches endlessly across a landscape untouched by wind, weather, or living presence. Fire and ice battle daily across surface regions scorched by sunlight and frozen by darkness. No other planet displays such extreme contrasts locked together within a single unforgiving environment. Mercury shows how fragile worlds become when stripped of protection and exposed to cosmic forces. Its lonely silence echoes across terrain unchanged through billions of years of destructive impact events. Every crater stands as evidence of a universe shaped by collision, pressure, and time. This haunting planet reminds us how rare Earth's protective atmosphere and living surface truly are. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's perfect. The next incredible space story arrives soon.